The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. And as always, we come to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So what do we have today? Well, we're down 306 points. Is that right? Let me update this just to make sure. 311 points on the Dow, down 31 on the S&P cash. NASDAQ's off 1%. Russell's off 1% too, down about 16, 17 points. Of course, the big thing we want to be looking at here is the volume. Volume did contract on Friday. Volume is contracting again today, where we've had 4.5 or 5 billion shares starting the show last 3 or 4 days. We're down to about 3.7 billion shares on the CBOE consolidated tape. And that's kind of it. It's just your basic, at this point, light volume retrace of a automatic rally off the bottom. So I'm not getting too wigged out. As I said before last week, we're probably going to be bouncing around, maybe a little lower than I thought. I thought maybe 2,900 would hold, and we're at 2,887 on the cash right now. So it's not that big a deal. My guess is we close back up around 2,900 on the end of the day and being down 20. Anyway, I think we're going to probably play around between 2,900 and 2,950 through Wednesday. Wednesday night is really the first time we're going to have any kind of catalyst, at least in earnings and other things. After the bell that night, I think we've got, Cisco. Not the one that delivers food to the chain restaurants, but the one that makes routers that makes the internet possible. After the bell, we got a handful of auto parts companies coming out with earnings this week, but short of Cisco, and I think we got Walmart on Friday. That may do a little bit, but I don't think that there's much in the way of a catalyst. And of course, in a total vacuum, which we're kind of in now, everybody seeing the boogeyman around every corner. Just kind of the end of the summer, everybody kind of looking at, getting the kids back to school, at least here in Florida. And that's about it. So there's just not that much going on. And do you have to be so dour or euphoric? I don't think the market's either one, although I think the media is beating the drum fairly hard. So I'm just kind of sanguine, thinking that the market was going to go sideways anyway, probably through Wednesday. I think that there'll be some opportunities for some option plays maybe later in the week. I've got my positions, and they're doing fairly well, holding up very well in this downturn off the top. Could we get a little bit more weaker? You could, but like I said, the volume's actually shrinking fairly decently today. We have any more kind of light volume moves, and I think we pop right back up. What did I want to bring up? Somebody in my email already was asking me about options and the figures I put out for it, and that is generally the low of the day, or the close on Wednesday, let's put it that way. The close on Wednesday, which would have been the 7th, that generally is 80% of the time the low going into options expiration 7 days later. That comes in at 2883. Let's call it 2884. So we're kind of on that line right now, just a couple points below it. Generally, the idea is that If you can get below that, 1 out of 5 times, you'll see a fat tail develop, and you'll see a lot lower. But generally, you've got to have a fairly compelling belief. And generally that happens on like things when the Fed's announcing something, or we have a bunch of earnings that miss, or a lot of other things. I just don't see the catalyst right now. Now, maybe the catalyst is no catalyst. But that shrinking volume, I think, tells you a great deal. That is that we are going to make some fairly significant retracement bottoms if it does not hook up. Flush them good, PFE. Okay. But that's about it. I'm sitting on my positions and don't really see, at least the ones I have. I'm not in index positions, by the way. I know a lot of people are. So they have to always be a slave to the S&P. But if you're down 50 cents on a $72 stock or $75 stock, it's not the end of the world. And, as long as you're kind of close to break even, you don't even start to sweat. Anyway, got some nice pullbacks. We'll look at the volumes today, but they're pretty mild so far. So we'll have to see what else happens as the rest of the week develops. But I'm not going to get too wound up as we get ready to go to break. But we'll do a little history, and then we'll come back, of course, and look at some more charts. But history first.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
And on this day in 1981, IBM introduces its first personal computer, the IBM PC Model 5150. IBM originally intended this model to be a stopgap computer that would allow them to quickly tap into the emergent personal computer market while taking time to develop a real PC. Of course, they had somebody developing the operating system, and it didn't work, so they flew up to Redmond, Washington to see Digital Research, a company that made software that was basically a language or a operating system called CPM. Was it Control Program for Master something? I forget. It's been 100 years ago. They made some small changes to it and made it a little bit more useful from Digital Research. The executives from IBM went up to talk to these hippies at Digital Research, and the guy that ran the show was not there. They didn't really make plans very well. Talked to his wife, were ready to sign and give her a magic and massive check, but she wasn't going to sign any non-compete agreements or do anything else. So they walked down the street to a little company that had already been making software for Apple and others, and Commodore 64 and some others. That company was Microsoft. They made a deal with them, but they were so flustered about getting a operating system, forgot to write a non-compete into it, and launched Microsoft as one of the largest, and now the largest by cap weight companies in the world. We'll be back in a minute. We'll look at some other stuff.
If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today. Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Hey, and we have an email from B. Zenon. Oh, that's B. Bill. Okay. Could you go over semantic in more detail? From what I read, they will keep Norton and LifeLock and sell off the B2B security biz for $10.5 billion, then pay a special $10.50 dividends. So what would the common be worth? That's already arbitraged. I don't think that any retail investor can get in there and make any money. And the problem is that any of the people that are involved in this on Wall Street do have all the inside information. You do not. So I'm not going to think that I've got any ability to have a leg up on them, at least on the arbitrage of that. And we talked about Funko. Apparently they make all kinds of soft plastic Darth Vader heads from Japan in your collection of useless toys. Or Santa Claus Yoda. No, I don't buy any of that stuff. So probably that's why I don't know Funko. I know Funyuns. Accurately named. Onions and fun together. You're Funyun. But other than that, don't know much about it. But yeah, I don't think that there's any time that I've ever had a leg up in some kind of arbitrage situation for a buyout, mostly because they will not tell you everything. And when these things are done, of course, they'll hire some Wall Street bank, and those guys know everything. So they've already figured it out and gone around it. Just not that. I don't think that there's any play in there. You know, generally what I like to do is figure when everybody's telling the big lie on Wall Street, and spotting it, I think I have an edge then. A lot of times you can see it in the charts. It just goes to a higher high and nobody's interested, volume falls out. Or it makes a pattern that tells you that people are not that interested. The idea that, you know, I can tell what a crowd is going to do. I say this very often. I don't know what a handful of people will do. And if all the information's in the market, you're probably not going to make any money. But generally when the big lie is out there, either it's euphoria or everybody's downgrading the stock at the lows. That's what gets me interested. When people are talking about a stock that's run 50% in a couple of months and then telling everybody it's got 500% to go higher, that gets me interested. I love it when I know that these guys are whipping the horse going to the line, because I probably, if I see that, the next thing I'll do is start looking at the chart and see whether or not it's telling me those guys are distributing their stock as they tell everybody to buy it, or buying stock when they're telling everybody to sell it. That's generally the modus operandi. So look for the big lie. Yeah, these mergers and acquisitions, the street has all the inside info. You have very little to go on. So that's about it. Yep. Uber, Lyft. Thank you, John. Is a good example of everybody knowing what was going on before. Oh, I need to actually get a chart up so I'll look looking at it. Next email coming in is on Microsoft. And is there anything going on in here? You're going to have to keep a close watch on it. As long as this thing continues and stays above the 3x3 displaced moving average, it's fine. This would make me, there's another question in here about what would make me bearish. And at this point, start seeing stocks close below the 3x3 on this bounce. But my guess is that we're going to start seeing these things either go up a little bit through the rest of the week. They may just go sideways for a couple of days. But we need Microsoft to actually start moving up a little bit more. Let's take a quick look at Apple and some of these other ones out here, see if we have any more damage. Same thing, kind of same pattern in Apple. You had your break below the 3x3. As soon as you do that after having 15, 20 days above it, you have the huge crack. Then you close back above it. What you don't want is another close back below it. So you need, and we're going in options expiration. It's not uncommon to see the market kind of slowly see short covering all the way through the rest of the week. But as Maynard Keynes said, "Sir, what do you do when you're presented with new facts?" "I change my mind." "What do you do?" Well, that is the answer. As long as it's above that, I'm not going to get too wrapped up in mania. And we'll look for probably what happens most weeks, which is people start shorting. The market kind of gives up with the lighter volume as we've had today. And eventually, come Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you start to see short covering, especially where they've shorted too much. The stocks go much higher. Okay, what else do we have? Okay, we're at 2885. Take another quick peek. Yeah, 3.9 billion shares, so significantly lighter than all last week at this time, and significantly lighter than Friday. So yeah, maybe we do 6.5 billion shares. Now Mondays and Fridays, kind of into the summer. Probably a lot more important what kind of volume we get in tomorrow. But again, if you want to see me screaming the end is nigh, it's going to be a lot of these stocks closing below the 3x3. I just do not see it right now. Let's take a quick look and see what this looks like in the 9-day moving average. You're still kind of underneath that right now. Close back above that, again, is probably what we're going to get in the next day or two in Apple and Microsoft. So I'm not too excited about that either. Let's take a look at Netflix NFLX. As it was kind of one of the weaker out here. Actually higher today, but or at least higher than the open. But still seeing a 9-day kind of being the resistance on this one, but up above 310, so you can't say much about it. Tesla, kind of interesting on it. You had a little close above the 9-day for a couple of days. It's back under. But again, no volume. and this is one of the stinkiest stocks out there that I know. I mean, it's got, for a business plan and books and CFOs looking like a clown car coming in one door and leaving the other, continues to be it. Okay, and AMD, someone's mentioning it in the den. Yeah, you got a little reversal up here, pop back higher, but you know what? They're really whipping this stock again, as I said earlier in the day. When everybody tells you that it's going to the moon, I almost always believe just the opposite. And yeah, they're kind of gilding the lily on AMD, in my opinion. We'll be back after this.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're talking about pillaging in the den during the breakout there. And of course, everybody kind of vaguely knows what it is. I think if you were looking for a legal description, no one would know what it was. But as I said, not much. You don't see pillaging much on the henchmen's resumes these days. And the comment was at least not on LinkedIn. Of course, you always get the evil dude who wants to have his mail delivered to a secret lair. But doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose of having a secret lair if you get mail at the address? I I do digress. What else do we have happening out there? We were looking at AMD during a deal. I got an email on this. Let's go back here and see this. My argument for advanced micro devices is that they are being very price competitive, and you can get more market share. But there's an old saying in race engines, and that is that there is no replacement for displacement, i.e. the bigger engine's going to make more power. You can make small engines deliver a lot of power. They don't last very long. In race engines, that may not be a bad idea. But same thing. You just there's no replacement. At one point, if you make $1 for every dollar you spend coming in, you got 50% margins. What happens when you get $2 and $3 and $5 for every dollar you spend to deliver a product? And that's when they come in at Wall Street and say, hey, this company just prints money. It turns lead into gold, that kind of stuff. And not that far from the truth. The truth. Let's go back here and look at some of the other ones. Let's go back and look at some of these. We brought these up last week, and I wanted to come back and see how some of these were working on it. And I don't remember. I think there was a couple on here that maybe I didn't bring them up. Urban Outfitters. I think we brought that up. Still, not much in the way of volume down here. It did break below. Back in $21, looks like you probably have some kind of low. We talked a little bit about Uber and Lyft during the break also. And you've got Uber breaking through back to this gap that kind of started it all. Is that the whole thing? Let me make sure I've got the whole thing. Maybe there was one. First day out, then gap down the next day. I need to add that data to me. I'll write a note. Let's take a quick look at Lyft, L-Y-F-T. See if there's anything else going on in that. A little bit lower. It's going back to its gap too. Yeah, I'm not going to say these are different, but it certainly looks like Uber is weaker than Lyft. But again, it depends on how many shares they pushed out. It's always hard to tell until you get at least a few quarters under your belt. And one of the reasons why I try to avoid IPOs that are big and everybody knows, and also there are a lot of shares sitting on the shelf, because these guys can kick out shares anytime they want. On Lyft, you could call this, I've got a quick question, you could call this three soldiers or three black crows back down to the support level. Again, all these stocks, I'm sure everybody's going to be shorting the daylights out of them, especially as sour and dour as the media is. But, you were looking for less than 2.5 million shares from August 5th low at $56.30. You got 4.1 million shares already. So it's going to be kind of tough. You've got some volume on the downside here. Even though you had a lot on the reversal at 13 million shares on the 8th. But again, this is where everybody tends to pile on. And if you're a pretty sharp cookie on Wall Street, you get paid for defending these stocks. I wouldn't be surprised that the never-ending stream of upgrades and happy talk for these companies will probably come along sooner rather than later. Let's see out here some other ones. This is the test. Let's go back and see how some of these earnings did from last week. Wanted to look at it. Gold came out, I think, earlier this morning. Barrick Gold, and went a little higher and kind of reversed a little bit. So no big signal on that. We talked about Funko, FNKO. I said I didn't know much about this company. And again, not much happening in it either. Let's take a quick look at Beyond Meat, otherwise known as Soylent Green. And it's been kind of going sideways for a while. Is it going to be a Tilray? It certainly could. Now, they've got earnings. Tilray has earnings, I think, on Wednesday. This thing actually hasn't been acting that bad as of late, but it's still in a pattern that could be just lower highs and higher lows. So I don't see any reason to get back in this. A former head of the FDA did say that all, what is that cannabis oil stuff, CBD, is illegal in foods. And he may, generally they talk together. They don't go out and just yell this stuff out. You may look at some of these companies that have been putting that in and illegally as an additive for all kinds of foods. So you may want to keep that under your hat while you think about some of these companies. And again, of course, the only company that is truly legal in this is, what is it, GMPH? Is that it? GHPM? Yeah, Happy Talk could be a while. What is the name of that? GWPH, that's what it is. GWPH is the only legal cannabis stock. Come on, I guess if I actually typed H, so we'll be there. GW Pharmaceuticals, they had earnings, of course, last week, gapped up and came back in. Again, if I was going to be in this is not a bad-looking gap higher, and you're actually pulling back and filling about half the gap on light volume. This may not be a bad place if you're interested in this sector for marijuana. At least this one's legal. Most likely, it won't be taken off the market tomorrow, and the FBI is not going to raid it. So between this and Scott's Miracle-Gro, two of the legal stocks that I think are probably going to make some decent money long-term instead of, I don't know, putting it in a wall safe because you can't put it in the bank for all the other marijuana companies. Hard to tell. But those are the two I would look at. What's, trying to remember Scott's. That's it. SMG. We'll look at that one.
If you're in the CD market and looking for a secure investment, the Tiger First Mortgage Program may work for you. The security for these first mortgages are building lots in the tax opportunity zone in St. Petersburg, Florida. The Tax Act of 2018 set up tax-free zones across the country where you can build and hold for 10 years and pay no tax on the profits, which makes these lots valuable. The investment is anywhere from $30,000 to $75,000. The interest paid is 7% yearly, paid on a monthly basis. According to Bankrate.com, the best rate for a 4-year CD in the country as of February 20th is 3.1%. A $50,000 investment at a normal 4-year CD rate of 3.1% would give you income of $1,550 per year or $6,200 over the 4-year period. That same $50,000 investment in the Tiger First Mortgage Program would give you $3,500 per year or $14,000 over the 4 years. Which would you prefer, $6,200 or $14,000 of interest on your investment? If you would like more information about the Tiger First Mortgage Program, you can call me at 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Are China A shares hot or not? If you trade China A shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A Share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And we're back. We were talking about Scott's Miracle Grow a couple weeks ago, and maybe it was last week when this thing did have a breakout. And I've always had the opinion that I give occasionally, which is that you want to be in the jeans or the shovels and picks and axes when everybody says that there's a gold in them in their hills. It's generally the companies surrounding the businesses that make the absolute incredible money over time. And of course, fertilizer for marijuana, going to be a huge business. I think everybody will have their own little victory garden if that's what they're into, i.e. marijuana. Most states are allowing you to have 10 plants. I don't know anything about it, never used it, never will. I just don't know why you would pay a lot of money if you can grow it in your backyard. You can grow it pretty good. I guess there's a whole bunch of issues on that. But I guess if you're smoking it, it's not for the taste, right? It's just how big a bang you get out of it. So I don't know. But to me, the long term, and I've said this for a long time, certainly looks like this. And of course, it's done nothing but go up since December. And no sign of stopping either. You got a valid breakout. A pullback to 105 on very light volume might have you chasing SMG higher in that space. CBS, we talked about cord cutting last week. In fact, I've got an email here from, who is this, Chris, about his Roku. I think we talked about this literally, because he says that a couple of times literally, in his email about buying his $30 Roku boxes. They have a bunch of stuff. Again, I guess I would probably worry about and replacing free channels with a Roku, but I've got Amazon Prime. I got it so I can order stuff and it shows up. The movies are free, kind of. I have Amazon Prime anyway, just for the delivery. So I don't think it's that big of a deal for me. I know that Roku's been pushed in a lot of TVs. I just don't hear anybody telling me they just love the Roku. They just, it just doesn't much. And to tell you the truth, I'm not for commercials, and I don't want 15 different a la carte stuff. I am taking my cable boxes back as more of a sign of protest. I'm tired of subsidizing places like ESPN that I never watch, nor do I agree with in what they're trying to push. So that's about it for me. Not much. But I can tell you that I was down to my last show, Elementary, and I don't know what else is. NCIS, when Michael Weatherly left, that was it for NCIS. I never watched it, nor Son of NCIS in California or New Orleans or wherever they're filming that, the other ones. Didn't appeal to me either. So I'm down to my last show. And of course, that's Elementary. And the last show for it's this Thursday night. So I don't know. I guess I'm just going to have to invest in something. They call them books. Or maybe I'll go out and see a movie. But not much. And they're not making anything for me. Let me put it that way. Everything is just things blowing up. Not much of a script. So, yeah, what can I say? Watching a lot of YouTube videos. Watched one last night about the refurbing of a 1920s, I don't know what you call it, a schooner, gaff rig schooner. I don't know what it's called. Interesting. To me, I'd much rather watch that than 100 different Marvel comic things about everybody and their superpowers. But that's just me. Let's take a look at some other stuff. We looked at gold. Let's check in. We looked at here, which is Turtle Beach. This actually is on a longer-term chart, not a bad-looking chart, so to speak. What you want is this thing down at $8.25 on very light volume, and that would be a very nice pattern. I would have to go back in and look a great deal at whether or not this is a one-hit wonder or a beautiful, huge pattern. If this was in a industry that I knew better than headsets for gamers, I would say I would be all over this. So keep an eye on that when it gets down. You only have about another 50 cents down there to $8.25. It gets down there on light volume. You've got something different. Not much volume today either. You just need this thing to kind of wander around, consolidate out around that 825 level, and then see whether or not you're going to have a big pop above that. We talked about Paylocity Holdings making a new high on Friday. You got a little bit of a reversal today, but not much in the way of volume. Again, the whole market fairly light on volume today compared to at least to last week. Let's check back in here. And we rolled off a little bit farther. What are we at here? 2877.5. We're off 41 points and 423 on the Dow. Of course, now 400 points in the Dow. That's old hat, isn't it? Down 113 on the NASDAQ. Russell's up 17. Let's take a look at my stocks. Okay. 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 What do we got out here? Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Okay. I'm still in the game, so we're happy about that. We looked at Netflix. What else did I have on my list? Looked at Apple. Let's take a look at yen, because this may be one of the biggest setups in a long time. You actually broke through this gap. Let me get this a little bit better. This is the direction ETF on China bulls. You did literally jump the creek a week ago on the 5th. And now you're back down for very light volume. Question is whether or not this is a false breakdown. You need a little bit to get back into it, but it's only about 16 bucks. Makes this a false breakdown. The light energy off this July 1st high back down to the August 5th low. It didn't have a lot of energy, and I'm wondering if this whole thing isn't a giant washout before some kind of trade deal. Yang is the other ETF on the other side of the coin for this one. It's up, and again, let's change that back to a displaced moving average before we go to the break. Now we got one more segment out here. This still hasn't even broken below the 3x3 on the Yang, which is the bear shares on this. I'd be watching these both very closely for any kind of sign coming back into what we're looking at. Be back in just a minute.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today. Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
As we go out, got a request to look at AMAT and the SMHs before the show closes out here. You're basically on the uptrend line for applied materials. Could be worse, but let's take a look at the SMHs real quick, see how they're doing today. Again, I think you've got kind of an uptrend line that you can make back in the SMHs, and you're right on them now. You're kind of right on the line. Tomorrow, I think we get the answer to whether or not you get a retest of the 107.41 in the SMHs. But it's not a bad, I mean, it's actually not doing, when I'm looking at the individual stocks, it's not looking that bad. SWKS, let's take a quick look at Skyworks Solution after its earnings. And it kind of came down, popped. Yeah, you know, just kind of, yeah, you're down a little bit out here. But again, volume very light. Today, just 1.2 million shares compared to 2.8 and 5 and 3 and 2.5 back. Actually, what, 3 and 0.25 back on the 5th. So again, a lot of these things, if the volume is right out here, it is low. As we go to the end of the show here, take a quick look at dollars just off 11 cents. See, the volatility is not there. We've got we got 4 1/4 billion shares in the CBOE consolidated market volume for everything, both the NYSE and the NASDAQ. So again, fairly quiet day on a Monday. Tomorrow, a lot more. Options continue to point to a close somewhere around 2,900 to 2,950. So maybe just a lot of volatility before we get to Wednesday, and then for Cisco, and then Friday for Walmart and some others. So have a good day. Keep a smile on that face. Sell when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you here. Same bat channel, same bat time.